In this video you will learn exactly how we're scaling this brand to over 3 million in revenue, and I will cover how we're launching ads, how we're scaling them, and what we're doing in the ad account to squeeze the maximum of every dollar that we're spending. So let's dive in. First, what you can see is that we have many campaigns. The reason why is because this specific brand is selling in many countries. And what we recently did is we launched basically one campaign which is using all countries together, using English, and also having another one which is for scaling, and a third campaign which is for remarketing. Because as I shared, this brand sells in many countries, they had many ads in local languages, but honestly this is not working better than just using English. Back in time, a few years ago, when you were using local ads, they were performing much better than using English. But for some reason, we see this trend to be the opposite right now. And basically yesterday, across all of our campaigns, we have campaigns in Italy, Spain, Portugal, France, and so on and so on. But you can see that basically that the campaigns on English perform the best and they have the highest ROI. So the first campaign that we are using is for testing. In the testing campaign, we are basically using broad targeting, we're using interest, we're using lookalike. So the first step is you are testing in broad, you see what is working, like what type of creative, then you take this creative and you duplicate it. And you duplicate it in lookalike, you duplicate it with interest targeting, and you can also combine lookalike and interest targeting together. It can also work very well. So that's what we are doing here. And if you take a look, let's say last 7 days, for example, we launched many ads, but in this account, we want our cost per purchase to be below 40 bucks. And in this case, you have to cut fast. So if you see an ad that already spends 50 euros, you have to take it down. Like some ads, they can get a sale, but if the ad gets a sale, continuous spending, and you see the return on investment to be very low, you can cut it much faster. You don't have to wait for a week or something like that. Actually, I believe that you should be optimizing your ads daily. I know many people say, hey, you can do it once a week or something like that. I think this is a very expensive decision because you overspent a lot. So the more frequently you optimize, the better. And then you take your winning ads, let's say this one, for example. So this ad, I already duplicated this one several times. And you can see this is one of the results that I got, another one. And basically, the idea is for you to find what works and then try it with different audiences, right? And don't touch your daily budgets. I know many people say if it's working, you can increase it with 10% or something like that. I don't think this is applicable, especially with ad set budgets. I'm testing in ad set budgets, and I have only one creative in each of these ad sets, so I can actually test them. I mean, this is the goal at the end of the day. So anyway, like this is the winning ad. I duplicated it in another audience, and this audience is already performing very well. The reason why is because I know that the creative is working. So the only question here is this audience going to work? I already tested the creative. And then you take your winners, basically, that are performing very well, and you want to scale, right? So in order to grow your account, you have to scale your winning ads. It's kind of obvious, but that's what needs to happen. And this is another campaign, which is my scaling campaign. In this campaign, I'm using cost caps. So I'm telling Facebook, hey, I'm willing to give you 100 bucks for each of these creatives, but I want you to reach a less than 40 euro cost per purchase. And this is what happened. Basically, I have an ad with 15, with 20, with 8, with 18, and I have a higher daily budget. Again, here I'm using one ad set and one creative. That's how I'm scaling this. And I will open a third campaign in order to continue scaling, which I will be using CBO. It's going to be like Advantage Plus, it's going to be one ad set in broad, and all of my winning ads inside. This is going to be the third strategy that I'm using for scaling in order to grow my account. And also I know that many people are running discounts for remarketing in order to get people to buy. I think this is an easy way you can get sales, but something that I'm testing right now is running basically remarketing, targeting my whole audience, people that go to the website, add to cart, initiate checkout, they just didn't purchase, right? And I'm using all of my winning ads from top of the funnel and I'm showing it to the audience again. That's what I'm doing here. And instead of leaving it on open targeting, what I have basically done here is I left it with cost cap. So I'm telling Facebook, hey, remarket to these people with my winning ads, and I'm willing to give you a cost cap of $40. That's how much I'm willing to spend here. So we're gonna see how this is going to go. But basically I also have campaigns in all other countries which are active. Some of them are still doing very well. But again, it's very important when you're running this for you to optimize the account daily. So you open your account, you see what happens, you see which creatives are underperforming, and then you start looking day by day. What is the trend on the last 3 days? If the performance is off for the last 7, and you take a look at last 3 days and the performance is still bad, you just take it down. But if the performance for the last 3 days is good, then you can keep that because that is already getting a positive momentum. But I look at this on a daily basis. This is what allows me to squeeze the most of what is possible in the account. And it's very important for you to understand the stages. So stage 1, you are testing with ad set budgets. You are trying to figure out which creatives work. The best audience to use in this specific stage is broad. As soon as you find the winning creatives, then you scale these by using different audiences, lookalike, interest targeting, mixing them together, targeting specific age groups. There are many different ways that you can use, but here are a few which are the biggest ones. Then you take these winning ads and these winning audiences, you duplicate them in a third campaign, which is with cost caps. You give higher budgets to Facebook and you give specific costs that you're willing to pay. The fourth stage is you take these winners and you duplicate them in Advantage Plus campaign with a higher daily budget. This is another way to scale. And this is exactly what we are doing in order to scale this account. And I think based on what is happening right now and the results that we're getting, I think most likely with the current portfolio, without launching new products, this can at least double the revenue. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments.